Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to continue on with our buyer's guide for the W108. I got the opportunity to show you a car that my friend Troy just purchased. He actually purchased it on auction from, we're obviously in California, bought it from an auction site in North Carolina. Quick background, from my understanding that kind of area of the country, I don't think it's a big Mercedes fan base like say Los Angeles or somewhere like that, you know. So my assumption on my part is that a lot of the buyers there at auction are probably not focused on classic Mercedes, maybe because they're just not of interest, or maybe possible difficulty in finding someone to work on them. But anyway, that aside, that's just a theory. It ended up being first in line in the auction, so it looked kind of interesting, and he ended up buying the car. It's a 1972 108 4.5 with a sunroof, light blue in colour, and the very brief background we got on it was it was a one-owner car. Gentleman bought it for his wife, brand new. It's been garaged all its life, and unfortunately she passed away some years ago. So he kept it and has finally hit the auction block, and from my understanding it hasn't been registered for 10 years. So there's obviously several things you've got to take into consideration, that fuel setting in the system and everything, all those things. So unfortunately I've got a new phone camera and I shot some film on the pickup, which I'm having trouble transferring to this video. But anyway, I did shoot a little short that I put up on the channel. But anyway, what we're going to do this morning, going to drive over to see Troy, take a look at what he's got there, and just give it a good once over. Not high detail, but give you an idea of what you can expect for $6,000 in today's money, August in 2025. So let's drive over there and see what he's got. So here we are at Troy's house. Troy has a problem. Troy collects Mercedes. No, he's got a lovely 123 under that diesel, beautiful car, and a 123 coupe further up the road. I may show you those later. So here we are at Troy's house. He's already got it up on jack stands and wheels off. So let's have a good look around this guy.
I had to lift up her skirt a little bit.
Oh, you did? Did you get axle stands all right, yeah?
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, cool.
We've
had a good old look around the car, and we've found a few things we didn't see at first, but all of it basically is very positive. So starting at the back here, yeah, the famous bullet hole. Still not sure what that is. Maybe it was the end of its run here, because it has dented the metal on the other side. Maybe there's a slug hidden in the chamber, but that's neither here nor there. It's a little bit interesting. Now, as far as the interior of the trunk area here, it's all really clean. Let the camera adjust. There we go. Very minor surface rust. He's even cleaned that off there. These drainage lines that come in, if they get broken at any point, then moisture and rain and stuff can get in between the mat and the trunk and cause rust issues. So you want to check that. The typical well areas on either side, the spare wheel and this side, are all in really strong condition. No rust or anything like that, so that's really nice. As I say, it's a sunroof car, so the motor's hidden up underneath there, and the sunroof does work really well. It's got a new, because this car has had a repaint, and a really nice one at that, actually, and it's not the factory colour on the stamp on the engine bay, but it is a really nice light metallic blue. Goes really nicely. It's got a new trunk seal there. Work our way round. All of the doors have good seals on them, which is really a bonus, as you know how much they want for those things. Interior, very presentable. Got a few little trim things Troy's going to take care of. The wood has been finished at a later date, not very well. They've kind of loaded it up with colour and blinded all the grain out, and even to the point where at first we thought it was plastic. And so that's something that Troy and I can work through in the coming months or a year or so. So let's dive in underneath. And the underside is very strong as far as being factory and original, but what he did find, which is kind of unusual, let the camera adjust here. Now, as I say, all of the underseal looks really original undisturbed, but he did fly in this area here. Now, what's happened, I think, is the car has bottomed out, struck here, and possibly moisture on the inside of the car, because this is the mount plate for the seat bracket in the inside of the car, and it's burst through there. And this is the only area. The other side, on the passenger side, has got a little surface rust on the inside, but it hasn't burst through. The rest of the floor pan and the whole underside of the car is in really nice shape. So that's the only really bad damage we found on the underside. All of the dogleg area that I always pay attention to has just got mild surface rust that can be treated easily. So that's something that we're going to take care of in the future. Weld a new plate in there and put a new bracket and stuff. All the rockers are in really straight shape. The jack points, which is again another inherent place for problems, all very nice and clean and factory. Moving to the back axle, it doesn't have its hydro pneumatic compensator there. Someone's replaced that with a spring, which is obviously pretty common. Troy's already done a little service on the differential, changed the oil out and everything. And as far as the Zerk fittings, I've talked to him about greasing the Zerk fittings on the back and obviously the front subframe. Another good indicator, the guy who had it before had fitted Michelin tyres, which is actually a good sign because they're pretty expensive tyres. So he's put a decent tyre on it. Tank looks in good shape. Talked to Troy about draining all the old fuel out, so get fresh fuel, and from the back all the way front we're going to go through and clean all the fuel system so it's not pulling in crappy fuel and dirt, and right up to the injectors. We'll talk about the engine in a minute, but again, structurally all these members are in good shape all the way around, so give those a good look when you look in. The strike plates are in good shape, both sides. As I say, Troy's got the wrench to be able to drain the tank, remove the strainer, replace the strainer, clean this tank out, and new filter and stuff like that. Missing a few plates. There should be a larger plate here, not just a nut on the bolt end here. There's the plates, and also the one on this side is missing altogether, so we got to put some of those on. Another few parts for the list is now, did you say you ordered the brake lines, the flexible brake lines from all four, or did you say they'd been replaced?
I didn't yet. I looked at them. They look like they actually been replaced.
Yeah, okay. So that's something, if you were doing, you'd probably want to do that because they can act like check valves and make the brakes stick. So we're going to pull the fuel tank, have that cleaned out, thoroughly cleaned, and make sure that that's all rust free before anything else. And then you have a way of blowing through the lines from back to front, yeah? Yeah, but obviously disconnecting first and all that. Alright, so just one more thing. We've checked all the seals on the control arm pins, they're all present. If there weren't, then obviously moisture can get into that area and wash away all the grease. So Troy's going to grease all these points and the kingpin, but we do have some wear in the kingpin. Now ideally you want to try it with the tyre on because you've got more leverage, but even without the tyre on, we've got movement this way. You don't want to be doing this way because you do have a little movement there as well, but that is more control, steering rods play. So that's that, but when it's rocking this way, you've got wear in the main kingpin. So when everything's done, this subframe will come out, we'll go over it, we'll do our subframe mount repair. Actually, while you're in here, can you come in closer? The subframe mount, I don't have a flashlight with me, but it looks pretty clean. So the subframe mount themselves might have been done some years ago. They don't look bad. My 108 was all torn to hell here. So anyway, once the subframe's out, then we can do kingpins, fresh kingpins and all that stuff, and rebuild all this front end, and it'll feel like a different car. So, we're taking off the mud plate here, check this chamber area here, cleaned out a load of crap out of there. made. Shows a few leaves and bits and bobs, but all really solid. Both sides on the vacuum tank side. Little lip on the front discs, but none to speak of really. All right. Other side, much the same. I won't go over there, but much the same. Everything's much the same. So let's dive into the engine bay and talk to Troy about what's going on in there. Up front here, as I say, we're going to pull all the injectors out. All the fuel lines, a standard replacement on one of these M117s, just as you know, fire danger of corroded or failed lines going onto the hot engine. So replacing all the fuel lines with fuel injector line, upper and lower seals on the injectors. We did find some fuel inside the oil, so why I suspect this car's been shunted around here and there, not really driven, and so it sucked some dirt into the injectors and they're probably dripping, and then that's finding its way down into the crankcase. And how long was it where it wasn't driven, Troy? It's been some years, is it?
The last registration was 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years of being shunted around.
Yeah, the date code on the tires.
Yeah, little drips of fuel going into oil is not good, obviously. So drain the oil out, get fresh oil in there, filters, of course. And from that point on, next thing up, obviously take the cam covers off. Checking the cam oiler tube, those plastic fittings that hold the cam oilers, replacing all those. Obviously checking the timing chain, tensioner, guides. What year is this again? Is
72.
72. It might be like mine where I've got metal guides. I've got metal guides on my 72, which obviously we'll just keep those. And then basic stuff, you know, obviously all coolant lines, hoses and that stuff. As far as surface rust, you've got the typical surface rust that drips out from the brake booster here. A little bit more here in this side, but the area we did find a little bit more than normal. This is underneath the battery tray. You can see we've got some fair bit of surface rust there, but it has started to damage the mount plate here. So when we're ready to do it, after everything else is done, obviously this has got to be dismantled, subframe, this disconnected, and subframe out, because I'll probably inspect the subframe for other things, but replacing this and welding in new metal here. What I'd do is cut this whole thing out and fabricate a new unit completely, and then weld it back into the main subframe. You don't want to start patching in little bits of this thing, you know, so you've got a good weld to the original metal, so it's nice and strong, and then just re-drilling the holes. That bolt there, as you can see, is heavily rusted, so we're not even going to attempt to move that because you don't want anything snapping right now while we're doing all the other stuff. A little stumbling when we drove it back. I think probably one of the injectors flagged up or something, or clogged, so it was only firing on 7 maybe. Cooling system, looks like fresh coolant there, but it's going to do a cooling system flush to make sure that's all flushed out, and proper coolant put in. That Xerex Go5, I think they've used them out. I think they've got some of the green stuff in there, haven't they? Yeah. Flushing out the steering fluid, you know, new filter in the bottom of the steering fluid, that's standard. That had not obviously been done because there's filthy fluid in there. Got a minor drip on the steering box, but nothing really to worry about right now. Little bit of play in the steering coupler. Again, that can be attended to once the steering box comes out, or steering gearbox comes out, and replace the coupler as well. New hood pad for the 4.5 had a hood pad. The straight 6s didn't have, so the 4.5 and the 3.5 had hood pads. That's again an easy job. Rest of it, chrome. All the chrome is in really nice shape. Typical quality chrome on these old classic Mercedes. The anodized stuff that's around the surrounds has faded a little bit, almost consistently across the board, which I haven't really seen on a 108 before. Not sure. You said you started to rub on some of it, didn't you, Troy?
Yeah,
with something.
It's gonna be barking like crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that. That might score it up a little bit. Have you got
a little bit on that?
Yeah, that might be a Yeah, it's funny. It's almost looks like it's got something on it. Yeah, I wouldn't rub too hard on that.
When I did that, it was like, black.
Have you got any brake cleaner? Spray it onto a rag and give that a wipe, and then we'll see what that does. But notice the consistent discoloration across all the chrome, which is a little unusual. Now, as far as the interior, as I say, the finish on the dash isn't the great. It's not horrible, but someone's gone in there that really didn't know what they were doing. We do have a fan motor, the 3-speed fan, that's not operating. What's happened, we had the 3-speed switch to the on position. We could start to smell and see a little smoke coming out there, so we've obviously got a jam fan. We might try accessing that and try and jump starting it through the cowling. But that's for the future. Overall, the interior is in pretty, really nice shape, actually. We've got a little bit of vinyl cracking on the top there, but not a big deal. Overall, it's really nice. Say, got sunroof. And overall, completely usable interior. And just something nice. We've got original radio in here. Steering wheel is not cracked up. Like, I've got a few cracks, but nothing too bad. I think what's happened is that whoever sprayed this car, when they were putting the trim back, they weren't very careful. Some of the trim is not being put back properly, almost like a little rushed in a way, maybe. Things like this, obviously screw shouldn't be there, that kind of stuff. But again, stuff that we can address. All the undersides of the doors as well. Checked all the undersides of the doors, all the drain holes look to be clear and no rust taken hold of the doors, which is nice. See, the body's in really nice shape, very straight, and the clear coat, they've done a nice job on this paint job. Very, very presentable. There's a few areas where it's faded and failed a little on the top of the fenders, but it's not a big deal, so they did a nice job. Again, this side, the rockers are very straight, no damage there. We've got a jam caliper, which is pretty common for something that's been sitting around, so redoing the caliper, new caliper service kit. Also, Troy's been cleaning out all of the Zerk fittings, all the mud and crap that's on there, to re-grease the front subframe and check to see that the seals are present on all 4 points of the control arms there. Little surface rust here, but nothing that's taken hold or anything. That's stuff for a wire brush will take care of. So overall, very, very good car for the money. And Troy's very happy because he wanted a car that he could, as essentially as a solid base, that he can work his way through doing all the little, cosmetic things and mechanical things to bring it up to reliable daily driver. He's not trying to make a show car out of it, just something to enjoy. So I think he's done very well. Thanks for showing us, Troy.
My pleasure.
There you go. So get used to seeing his face on videos in the future. There you go. And if anyone can know the paint code of this is a light metallic blue. What was the paint code on the original? 387 or something, wasn't it?
I think that's right.
It's a darker blue, the original. This, as I say, it's been repainted, but it's a really nice blue actually. What are we looking at?
387.
387H. So that was a darker blue, and but this really works nice. So anyway, all right. Thanks a lot, Troy.
Yep.
I will see you soon, and let me know if I can be any help. All right, have a good one. So a few days after I left Troy's now, I had to edit the video up and everything, and he's been chatting with me back and forth of all the things that we noticed on the car. As far as the kingpins, I did make note about the bearings in the video there, but because I was wondering whether he had a little play in the bearings and it wasn't the kingpin, so I got him to check that, and it is definitely the kingpins. And as I say, you've got to keep an eye on that area of the car, because that's the area that very few people lubricate those front subframes as much as they should be. And so the kingpins suffer the control arm pins, all that stuff, and can lead to catastrophic failure in an extreme example. So anyway, so that wasn't bad. As you saw, and sorry about the video wasn't great, showing the body, a little shadowy in the garage, but you'll see it in upcoming videos when I go back over there. But really nice paint job, except for the bullet hole in the back. But really nice paint job. Tops of the fenders, the clear coat's failing a little bit, but the whole car is very respectable. And Troy calls it a 10-footer, meaning it's looks nice from 10 foot away. Actually, it's a nice paint job. So I think he did really well there. As far as the structure underside, we did find those few little areas underneath the seat. And again, I think probably got struck, moisture wicked in there and sat in there and broke it out. It's kind of an unusual place, especially because the rest of the floor and the dog leg area that I've been working on my 6.3 was really solid. Little surface rust, but that can be taken care of easy. As far as the fan blower motor, the 3-speed motor, when we picked the car up, I think I mentioned it in the video, we tried the motor and it wasn't working. And so when we went to drive the car, we'd forgot to turn the motor off, right? So he was driving it, you could smell all this electrical smell coming and smoke coming out of the dashboard. So I quickly figured it was the motor, so we turned it off, so we knew power was getting there. So I said to him that there's a good chance, and I'll show you on the 6.3, there's a good chance that you can take the cowling off, take all of the cabin filters off and reach your arm in there, get that fan blade moving, get some WD-40 in there, and hopefully it will start spinning again. Anyway, so a few days later he calls me and shows me a picture. Huge mouse nest has gathered inside. How he got in there, I don't know, but he crawled up through the vents and made a bed right inside the fan unit, the squirrel cage thing, and he sprayed a bunch of WD-40. He's yet to tell me whether that worked or not. I'll be in touch with him. Fuel tank looked actually brand new, he said. It's obviously been out because it was missing those little brackets on the underside. I've got some of those kicking around I can give him. But he took the sender unit out and removed the strainer after draining the tank, shone a light in there, and it looks clear metal, as though that's a new fuel tank. And I think by the sounds of it, it is, which is a real bonus. What else has he found? He's been going through the, took the cam covers off, replacing the cam oiler 2 plastic clips. Looks like the chain has been done fairly recently. No evidence of chain stretch. I told him to wind it round to see if there is a master link in there, so it's highly likely it's been changed. Doesn't look like it's got any wear on it really. So car's done about 113,000. He's just working his way through the mechanicals, and that's what he wanted. He wanted a good solid car, which he's definitely got. Very presentable, and just work his way through it and enjoy it. One more thing I forgot to really go over. I think he's done really well with this car. $6,000. Shipping costs I think cost him around $1,200-1,400, something like that. So just stands him in about $7,500. Now breaking the car, like in my videos, my buying videos, breaking the car into 3 different sort of sections, bodywork, underside, rust repair, all that stuff, which is by far the most expensive to put right. Unless you're doing it yourself, then it's actually one of the cheapest because you're doing all the labor. So anyway, the labor costs obviously run bodywork and rust repair through the roof. And as you know from the experience of seeing the 6.3, things keep opening up. You have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. So that can get out of hand really fast. Interior, you can tend to quantify that a little easier, as labor costs for doing seats and headliners and all the carpets, that stuff, which most of it he doesn't need to do. He's maybe a new carpet down, seats are in perfectly nice shape. Roof liner he may do because there's a little tear I forgot to show you in the video. So the interior is well ahead. Mechanically, as you say, we've been looking at the bore wash that we did see, and I think what's happened is that this car's sitting around for 10 years being moved, and the wife passed away by the sounds of it 10 years ago, and it doesn't sound like the guy was using it himself, but moving it around, little short little bursts here and there, and dirt and filth building up, clogging those injectors, dripping injectors, ball washing it, and then putting fuel in the oil. Obviously not a good scenario. In an ideal world, the car should have been delivered right to the door, but you know, we took it home. He's drained all that oil out, and cleaning the fuel system out is priority. So he's actually putting new injectors in and all the other fuel and all that stuff we talked about. So overall, I think he's done really well. All right, tell me what you think, because price is where you are, your part of the world. Because I think for a California, now it's a California car, that's a bloody good buy. Because I've seen some real crap. You know, people asking $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, and it's absolute junk. And vice versa, you get a little gold one like this every now and then. Oh, I nearly forgot. So obviously this is a car, my 109, on its side here, and this is the area where we got the windscreen wipers, the cabin filters, and the cowling, obviously, right? And obviously I've got the hood off, which makes it an awful lot easier. So if you were to take the windscreen wipers out, the filter out, you can actually, you have to take my word for it, reach up into this chamber and feel what's going on with that fan. And I can turn my fan, I can now put power to it. There is some crap in there, and like I say, Troy found a bunch of mouse bedding up there, so that's something which will be a bonus if it ends up turning and we haven't got to pull that box out of there. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this video, and please hit like, share, subscribe, and put down in the comments if there's anything I might have missed or whatever, and anything really. So as far as I am leaving in 2 days, I'm flying to South Korea to see my son Thomas, who's just graduated from university there. So obviously I'm not going to be doing full-blown videos, but I might well shoot some shorts while I'm over there. He says there's not much of a Mercedes scene over there, and he said you don't see any classics, but you never know. There's a small chance we'll go and do the G-Wagon experience that is just outside of Seoul in South Korea. Fingers crossed we can get into that. There was a communication error. I couldn't seem to get them to know what I was talking about. So anyway, we'll see about it when we get there. But what we are going to do, we're going to take a trip up to the DMZ. So I will shoot some shorts of that. So that should be fun. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Sorry the videos have been a little spaced out. There's been a lot going on here. So I appreciate it. And yeah, please hit like, share, subscribe. Stick a comment down below. And I'll see you when I get back from Korea. All right. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.